Business writing for Innovators and Change-Makers was born out of a frustration that I'd been nursing for a while. One of my favorite activist authors is Claiborne, and he claims that frustration is something we should actually be grateful for. He says, if you have the gift of frustration, and the deep sense that the world is a mess, thank God for that. Not everyone has that gift of vision. But then here's the rub. He goes on to say it also means that you have a responsibility to lead us in new ways. So this little book I wrote was my little way of turning a personal frustration into a sense of responsibility and action. Now here's what was bothering me and still is. When I look around my neighborhood of Halifax and then Nova Scotia and then Canada, I see so much amazing innovation happening. I see all kinds of creative, committed people harnessing their personal gift of frustration and inventing products and services that have the potential to change the world for the better. But when I visit their websites or meet them in a networking event, I often find it hard to understand just what they do and how exactly it will make a positive difference. Now, this really rankles with me because I think that great ideas and inventions deserve to be understood. So I wanted, in some small way, to help become part of the solution. So I asked myself this question: what's the biggest barrier to communicating at the edge of innovation? And here's what I discovered. When you're on the edge of the possible, you're looking to the future, not to the path behind you. But where are the people you're trying to explain your product or service to? They're still on that familiar, well-trodden path. They're behind you, maybe way back on the trail. So it's not easy for them to either see or to trust your vision of what's to come. Now, this means that your audience has an entirely different orientation to the world from you. It's not just a matter of their not understanding the technical ins and outs of your solution. And when someone has a completely different worldview, you can't effectively communicate with them just by offering explanation. You can't just bring them up to speed or give them some more technical background. Now, when you face an audience that's way behind you on that path to the future, it's common to apply one of three strategies. First, you might try to teach the audience. Educate them about the technical origins and inner workings of your innovation. Help them grasp its significance by giving them what I call an engineer's perspective on how it functions and why it matters. Then if that doesn't work, and it usually doesn't, you might try to preach to your audience. You might skip over the technical details and get straight to an impassioned plea for taking your product or service seriously because it has groundbreaking qualities. So rather than trying to explain, you exhort. But this approach doesn't usually work either because your audience may not have enough understanding of what you're doing to trust you. Then, if that doesn't persuade your audience to buy into your innovation, you might try the third approach I often see, which is dumbing it down. You give up on helping your audience truly understand the merits of your innovation, and you just give them the kiddie version. Again, this approach seldom succeeds because it fails to establish a foundation of trust. What all three of these methods are missing is a way of connecting with the audience that gives them real insight into the value of what you have to offer. Now, the word insight comes from an Old English word meaning inner sight, as in inner vision or understanding. This is what you need to develop in your audience in order for them to grasp the value of your innovation, not just cognitive understanding. Not mere emotion, but a vision that they're able to comprehend and appreciate at a deep level. Audience insight develops when you stop explaining and start connecting. And the key to connecting is caring. Caring not just about the problem you're trying to solve, but also about the audience you're addressing, whether that means investors, government funders, potential partners, or customers. Caring means writing about your innovative solution in a way that shows appreciation for your audience's worldview, no matter how different it may be from yours, no matter how incomplete it might be, no matter how outdated it may be. Caring means framing your explanation so that you empathize with the real dilemmas your audience faces and the tough decisions they have to make. It means taking time to learn their language rather than teaching them yours. It means taking the time to figure out what the values are that drive their behavior and how your values and goals align with theirs. When you demonstrate caring about your audience, not just about the problem that's driven your innovation, that's when clarity happens. That's when you get to that breakthrough point where you're able to connect with the audience in ways that they can relate to at a very deep, very human level. You stop over explaining and you start truly communicating, which means establishing a shared understanding and sense of purpose. So that's a bit about the journey of frustration that led me to write Business Writing for Innovators and Change-Makers. If you're on your own journey of trying to communicate the value of an innovative solution, I'd love to hear your story. Just shoot me an email and we'll set up a time to chat.